Merhabalar sevgili İMC TV izleyicilerim. Bugün özel bir röportajla karşınızdayız. Avrupa Parlamentosu'ndayız. Avrupa Parlamentosu'nda Parlamento Türkiye Karma Komisyonu üyesi Ernest Maragall ile görüşeceğiz. Kendisine son gelişmelerle ilgili sorularımızı yönelteceğiz. Son dönemin belki de en çarpıcı başlıklarından biri oldu Türkiye'de Avrupa-Türkiye ilişkileri. Bu yüzden de detayları sizinle bu röportajda paylaşmaya ve yorumlarını Sayın Maragall'ın aktarmaya çalışacağız. Thank you for having us, Mr. Maragall. And I wanted to start actually the latest developments between Turkey and EU. The deal, which is done a couple of weeks before, and started the process. And also there was a meeting today, just today, this morning, about the budget. Budgeting.
But it's only the first approach to the question, because we don't know enough. We don't know exactly how, when, who is managing, and how is the money coming from. Well, we have big figures, 500 million to be contributed by European Union budget, and 2,500 million to be brought by the member states. But we'll see, because it's not clear. It's also not clear what the title is humanitarian aid, in a very big sense. That's okay. We agree, in this. But I think that here in the European Parliament, at least, we should have much more knowledge, much more detail, and much monitoring, much more possibility of following the process of these next 2 years, what is going on. Perhaps it will be not enough money in this sense. And at least myself, I do not agree in the idea that just we are adopting a payment operation. We are paying Turkey in order to avoid the arrival of it would be the worst image we could, the worst reality, because I think the first consideration is we are talking about citizens, about more than 2 million citizens, and their needs, and their hopes, and their rights. That's about it. And how do we manage these rights, these hopes?
And when we are starting, that we understand this process is already started with the budget talks and 500 million is going to go.
But there is a commitment. There is a real compromise from the European Union, adopted by the Council. That's the Council. The Council, they rule. The Council are is where the states meet, and where they take decisions there. I think it's sure. In this sense, we can count on 3 billion euros. But then it's the other side of the question. Some people talk about conditionality, meaning pre-accession talks, opening chapters for this pre-accession, entering in the real matters that should be entered in any case, with or without refugee crisis. And then rule of law, then freedom of press, then justice, then everything you know perfectly, much better than me.
Yeah, and you were before the talks started. Actually, that day there was an article that you wrote in Politico that we read. In that article, also, you were mentioning this humanitarian crisis, and after that, in Turkey, also people started to talk that this humanitarian crisis started to be used by Turkey as a bargain chip.
Yes,
in these talks. Do you agree that? And what are your comments? Is it really work, or it's going to like that?
It's a risk that it could be confirmed by the European Union attitude and decisions. I think it's something to avoid absolutely. We have not to permit to let it happen. I think we have to be really aiding Turkey as a whole country, society, people, in the managing of a very difficult, critical situation, because receiving such an amount of people coming from extreme conditions is not an easy one. Then Europe has to be there. But it has to be there unconditionally. But then it's true that at the same time, but much time ago it should be this way, Europe has to be, how to say, exigent, has to be much harder in the defense of European values and the European rules, and then talks with Turkey institutions. I think that we have a double kind of contradiction. I have been there. I know much Turkish people, Kurdish people. I think I have the feeling that most of them, they feel European and they want to be recognized as such, and they want to advance in this process. But it has to be a genuine one, and not in change of anything, not in change of some needed money for a conjunctural dramatic situation. We have to afford this dramatic situation, and we have to advance. In a real advance, the real advance is to be done inside Turkey. And also, then it cannot be bargain. It has to be principles, values, rights, and respect.
But it came in that point that Turkey and Europe dealt about at least 5 or 6 chapters. That lately we learned from Turkish press that there was a letter from Juncker to Turkey about these 5 chapters, which is declared after the meeting because there were some rejections in the meeting. What are you thinking about these rejections? And also I want to add the visa issue, because Turkey talked a lot about this visa
it's
issue.
presented as the big success of this talking, is the big new victory of Turkish regime. I'm in favor of closing positively the visa question. But it's again the same thing. It should be done, and not in a change of anything. It should be done because it's a real question. Because Turkish people has rights and has to be respected. It has to be used, well used, of course. And then there is also responsibility for Turkish institutions, Turkish government, and Turkish presidency, of course. But at least I remember the discussions last year here in the Joint Parliamentary Committee. I was already defending the need for reopening and accelerating, if possible, the visa question. Then welcome the situation if it's a possibility to have real advances. But I think it's a lot of responsibility both sides in advancing not just in the name of the urgency, but in the name of real agreement, a real conviction, a real respectful position, and a real consideration of Turkish people's rights.
And does it come realistic, at least about this visa issue, when it rises? Because already Europe is talking about this Schengen area and the border controls, etc. Because now they're giving date in next year that they're saying. And
it seems how to say there is an obvious contradiction also in this sense, because we are talking about a future paradise, to say, but we are building barriers on the other hand. Then that's who is telling the truth? Where will be there is a balance point. I don't know. I'm not very optimistic. In the European side, I think that we have a real problem here in the European Union of going back in the sense of abandoning all the European values, acts, rights as European, and we're coming back to national member states, policies, decisions. It's the war reaction that the refugee crisis claims for. The refugee crisis claims for more Europe, not for less Europe. And instead, by the moment, we see this perhaps comprehensible reaction, understandable reactions coming from some specific countries that they see the arrival of such people that they are not in conditions to manage. But here is where Europe should be able to share and to distribute correctly the charge and to respect the rights of these, I insist, of these citizens, not just refugees. They are not objects that have to be kept in...
Not just numbers.
Not just numbers, not just walls to keep them closed, at the contrary.
And what do you think about that? Europe was late to interrupt the situation about Syrian refugee crisis. It was late, or also with the connection of this question, what about war and the opposition about Syria, and what about the role of Europe in what's going on in there?
Well, I think that the reaction has been much lower than should be necessary, of course. But it's also an indicator of until which point the problem for Europe comes from a long time ago. There is a European responsibility on the launching of this crisis and the war-open conflict. Not only European, of course, because we have to count on the United States. We have to count on our responsibility of Arab and Muslim countries. Should we consider that the acts coming from Saudi Arabia or many other countries in the zone, or in Russia attitude also? But any case, some people this morning in this meeting you were mentioning before, some people has defended that the European Union has reacted very well, we have been very quick in deciding to put money in this. Well, I don't think so. I think that's. I think that we are making visible the insufficient existence of a real European government that can take decisions, decide on public resources and how to react to afford a problematic situation as this one. I repeat, refugee crisis claims for more Europe, and Europe is. We don't know where we are. No? We are just asking ourselves who United Kingdom is thinking on leaving. Some Eastern countries are just afraid, just feared, expressing fear for the situation. In Germany, the first reaction has been positive, and Merkel attitudes also. Now it's arising also a much critical reaction. I have been this morning also with President of the Baden-Württemberg Länder. He's really concerned because he's in favor. He's positively decided to take his responsibility as a German institution to receive people, to respect its rights, etc. But he's finding more and more scarcity of resources and citizen reaction, negative citizen reactions and phenomena. Then it's very concerning, all the situation in European terms.
In this case, I wanted to ask, you said even Europe is thinking where we are, what are we doing now?
Yeah.
And we are following the news all around Europe about these discussions, etc. And at this moment, what does it mean re-energizing? Because this especially word used for Turkey. What does it mean?
Re-energizing the accession process.
Yeah, accession process of Turkey.
Well, who knows? Perhaps this question will finish to re-energize European institutions and willing to build something in common in the future as European Union. Perhaps I said before that the refugee crisis claim for Europe. I think also that the answer to, for instance, the Greek situation claims for more Europe. And I could add now, relations with Turkey claims for more Europe. Because Turkey is too big to be treated just as another country that can be the question of the accession of Turkey can be managed in the interest of one, or German in favor, French against. It cannot be managed this way. Turkey needs to have a clear dialogue, a clear interlocution with the European Union as a whole, in a committed and united position. There's much work to do in this sense. It's not right here. This position.
During these discussions, also after and before, also we heard about Greek ministers' rejections or some comments about Turkey and becoming more authoritarian regime in Turkey, claiming Turkey to becoming more authoritarian. How does it going to affect the relations with Europe?
The problem is not Greeks have all the rights to say such things, but we don't need to expect them to say it.
Yeah.
We can see it by ourselves. No?
Yeah.
We see it, and we are concerned also by how things are going, which kind of things are happening in Turkey, and that's not acceptable in any, from any consideration, from any point of view. No? Violence, violation of basic rights, freedom of press, killings of so representative people as we know, and more frequently. It's not the way. Obviously, Turkey, in this sense, is still more clear that we cannot accept any kind of bargain, closing our eyes and in change of more or less appropriate attention to the refugees. No, it's not possible. No?
It seems that
the problem is Turkey by itself, and we have to. Europe has to take its responsibility, influencing and pressing in a positive way, respecting the Turkish people, but making it clear, very clear, which are the limits, which is the future in common, if Turkish want to, of course.
This process with EU, can it be also affecting the future, and can it be also affecting the future of Turkey in this authoritarian ongoing, that can it be effectively better? Can it change it into better? Hold this process, because human rights, freedom of speech, these are bases for Europe, the European Union.
I think I am in favor of entering, opening the chapters, making it objective, no? Talking things how they are, not hiding nothing. That's perhaps the scenario we need to be able to enter in every question, because we are now in the war situation. Because we don't have the table, we don't have the scenario to put it as it deserves, no? in a very clear manner. What Europe considers unacceptable, what considers possible to be compatible with any accession process, etc. Then let's think it could be for good, no? This period, but the real condition is then both European Union and Turkey takes it seriously and genuinely, not just as a part of this apparent interchange or trade. No? It's not a trade. It cannot be a trade. It has to be a common and parallel work, shared, but based on real changes in Turkey, based on real new attitude coming from Europe also, no? Because we have to recover from 10 years of going back in Europe also. There is a responsibility also in Europe, coming from Europe in not helping Turkish society to go on, to advance in this, because we have perhaps created the conditions for some Turkish responsibles to think that Europe will not admit us never, and then promoting this alternative attitude that we can also see now. Is Turkey deciding to exercise a role of leadership in the geostrategic consideration in the zone, or Turkey is really considering to be part of Europe committed and sharing everything, also geostrategical consideration. It's a decision that Turkey has to take.
Okay. For last question, that first you're attending all these talks and you're following from inside, and you know everything that Turkish ministries and European joint delegation is telling to Europe, what they're going to do about refugee crisis, what they're going to do about European process. Does it come convincing what they're offering for this whole human rights and freedom of speech issues also in what's going on in Turkey, and also from the opposite side?
Not by the moment.
Okay.
Not by the moment, because, well, first thing to consider, we have not. Why are we not convoking for next week the Joint Parliamentary Committee? It's what I think we should do. We have also our problems here in the European Parliament. The Greeks' position, the Cyprus question, that's still there, blocking almost everything. And evidently for the Turkey side also there's a lot of reluctance to enter really in these problems. But I think the only way is to go straight at these fields, to look at the eyes of each other, and let's talk about everything. Let's build something in common. Let's help us mutually.
Mutually. Okay. Thank you for having us and answering those questions.
Thank you to you.
Evet, bugünkü röportajımızı burada tamamlamış olduk. Sayın Ernest Maragall bizim sorularımızı yanıtladı. Umarız Avrupa Birliği ve vize konuları özellikle Türkiye'de çok konuşulurken sizin de aklınızda takılan soruların hepsini cevaplamış olmuşuzdur.